I'm here with my co host, Candy Nelson, and we are coming to you live and late, as usual. And our apologies. Tonight's title is What is Love? And we have discussed prior to this here podcast that we're now doing what the whole process of that is, why it came to be, and how it came about. And Candy has a beautiful example of that. And I think we all have something that has happened to us at one time or another that is a true example of love. So I'm going to let you start, Candy, if you would like to go ahead and what you told me earlier was beautiful, and I think everyone needs to hear that.
Well, first of all, today is my 33rd anniversary.
Happy one.
Happy,
And you're a hero, you and George.
happy years. Such an amazing husband. I'm so very blessed. I just want to tell you all, I'm so very blessed. And I have so many people that just absolutely love me. And it feels so great and so wonderful. And I got the sweetest phone call yesterday from one of my Facebook friends. I may be wrong, forgive me if I am, but I think she's probably in her late 60s, early 70s. She's a little older than me. But she said, I just wanted to call and tell you. She said, I was looking at Valentine's Day cards the other day. She said, and who is the person I admire the most? And she said, I haven't sent a Valentine's Day card in years. She said, but I just wanted to let you know. She said, I'm not gay. She said, I totally love you. I sent you a Valentine's Day card. And she said, because, she said all these amazing positive things about me that it just warmed my heart.
Mm.
And it just made me feel so very special. And so, yeah, it was like, yeah, it's not what happens to us in life, it's what happens because of what happens to us in life.
Because of life, that's
Mm.
right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so very blessed. And, Lisa and I were
That's
talking, we've
beautiful.
got a recent situation with a child that she's acquired. And, you know, I acquired my grandchild at 6 weeks old. And it was like absolutely at my worst time in my physical health that I could have ever been. And so my 6-week-old grandchild showed up on my doorstep and needed emergency shelter. And I was like, oh God. My husband was like, you can't do this. He's like, you can't even take care of yourself. I was at the worst physical time I've ever been in my whole life. I was like, you know what? Watch me. Because this child will not go into foster care and she will not go to the family that was responsible for abusing her. So I'm sorry I have to say that because, yes, there was a plea bargain taken in the end. So there was nothing that really happened that was any, as far as repercussions of the actions that was done. But, I said, yeah, I couldn't even walk. I don't even know how I did it. But, there is no greater love than self-sacrifice. So,
The
you know,
greatest of these is love. That's
yeah,
right.
if we have to sacrifice ourselves, then to save someone else, especially someone so young and so innocent, we
Yep.
have to do it. It's our calling. We have to.
You
And so,
betcha.
oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. She just turned, oh my gosh, let's see. She's about to turn 9 years old, and I'm like, she was 6 weeks, and I didn't even think she was gonna survive. And she's so amazing. And I'm
Yep.
like, I had a part in that because guess what? I didn't care what happened to me. I
That's
knew
right.
that that child needed me at my very worst physical time I ever had in my whole Morgellons journey. And
Yep.
so, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
totally agree. And happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank
And
you. Yeah.
to go ahead and chime in on that, I know you know, but speaking of children, which is probably why we brought that up, I, at the beginning of this week, on I guess it was Sunday when this started, inherited an 18-month-old baby that the guardian didn't want anymore. So, do you turn your back or do you take it in? And it's a little boy. He's super sweet. He needs a lot of love and he deserves a lot of love. So, on that topic, he's in this room right now, back here sleeping, which is why we're late tonight. And again, my own apologies. But my week started out like this. My dad had congestive heart failure, ended up in emergency room. I was there, and I was in the meantime with this little guy as well, or going to get this little guy. Long story short, I went to the emergency room with my mom and dad. And my mom, of course, this is not something that she really can handle at all. She can't drive. She has a hard time just getting through daily life. Bless her heart, and I love her so much. But my dad's life was obviously threatened, and he's still here. So I'm just going to not tear up right now. He's still here, even though he's been the meanest of all to me through this whole Morgellons ordeal, and to this day refuses to believe or say anything kind or nice. I don't care. My dad also told me so many times that, 1 Corinthians says very, very specifically, the greatest of all these things is love. And whether he could actually practice what he preached or not wasn't about that. It was about the fact that that resonated with me, and it should. So long story short, Dad is now home, and they had put the stent up his arm, or the stent in, and went through his vessel into his heart, and kind of opened it up to remove the blockage. And what happened was, he was getting ready to go to surgery. Well, all of a sudden I get a call, and keeping in mind that I'm supposed to have this 18-month-old boy, and I did, but I had to go drop him off back with that same person that didn't want him, not because I wanted to, but because I had no soul in the world here to help me. And I said, take good care of him, please. I promise I'll be back in 2 days to pick him up. So I left the hospital in tears, and my mom there, and had to call people and beg people, like, take care of my mom, make sure she gets back and forth to the hospital. She can't drive, and she wants to be with her husband, and who wouldn't want to be? And Candy, going on 33 years of marriage, could understand that. So I drove straight through the night to Oklahoma on Monday night, or Tuesday night. Monday night. Straight through the night. It took me 9 hours. I drove through emergency flash floods. They said everyone off the roads, take shelter, do not get on the roads at all. I went through high water, low water, and every kind of water, lightning like you have never seen. 9 hours, what should have taken 7 hours to get to Tulsa, Oklahoma area from the state of Texas, in Sealy, where I am. I get there, and I have to do, after driving straight through the night, leaving the hospital, get in my car, drive straight through the night, just throw some crap together and all my surveillance equipment. 13 hours of sitting there surveillancing. This is not like a big deal. I get that. But I'm getting there. So I do that whole 13-hour surveillance, no sleep, driving through the night to get there. 13 hours. I arrive at around 5:30 in the morning after driving through the night. And 13 hours later, I finally, actually it was 8 p.m. when I finally got to head back. So I drove what should have been, again, 7 hours back, but it took 9 hours through, again, this beautiful the new normal weather that I went through. Flash flooding, emergency, flashes everywhere. And I was saying, take shelter. I mean, lightning striking, rain pouring. I cannot see the road in front of my eyes. And I mean, I'm just like, I am going home. I've got a baby to go pick up. I got a dad to check on. He went into surgery while I was on the surveillance. So, I mean, I'm just praying, just like, please, Lord, he might be a butthole, but please, Lord. I didn't say that to God, but I thought about it. But I was just like, let him
He heard
please.
you. He heard you anyway. You didn't have to say it.
He knew, yeah, you knew either way. But yeah, he knew what I was. He knows my heart. Which
Right?
again, which is what is love? Well, that love
Right.
right there up there is the greatest. There is none like it. But I made it home and I arrived here back in Texas. It was 4 a.m. by the time I arrived. I had to stop and get gas, and I was feeling tired. So I actually went super, super slow going back. So I said 9 hours going back. It was more like 10 or 11. But I wasn't going to take any chances. I had to arrive in one piece to go get this baby boy that the guardian who had had him since he was 6 weeks old wasn't even supposed to be in this state, by the way, just didn't want him anymore. And she's going through her own hardships, bless her heart. She just, I guess, miscarried twins, and she lost a 4-year-old daughter a few years back. And she acquired this baby by simply being a babysitter for these mother father duo that had a rap sheet like this long. Because again, I'm a PI, so don't think for one second that I'm not going to pull the background on freaking all of them. So I did. But long story short, I made it back. In the meantime, Dad is done with surgery and getting ready to get out of the hospital. That's fine. It's 5 o'clock in the morning or so. I sleep 2 hours, two, mind you, after being up for 28 hours straight. 2 hours, get up, jump in my car, and drive all the way back, an hour and a half away towards Baytown, Texas, to pick this baby up because I don't know what's going to happen. And I know that this woman is at her emotional end. Okay. But I also know what CPS brings to the plate, which is never good. So it's kind of like, what is worse? The baby had no bruises or anything. If anything, it might have been, maybe emotional neglect. But what's worse, being shuffled around through the system, not knowing anyone, or just waiting a couple more days for me to get back and maybe not getting 100% of attention, but definitely not abused on a physical level, we should say. Because trust me, I checked. I'm not stupid and I'm no stranger to the rain. So long story short, I drive. It's like 11 o'clock. I get there because she's like, can you come get him now? I'm like, I am on my way. So I bring him back. He is here. But my deal is I have to work tomorrow and Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday, full-time surveillance in Galveston, Texas. Thank goodness my other daughter lives in Texas City. It's like 13 miles away. But thank not goodness that my daughter, who's in Texas City in college, is not feeling very competent in watching him for me. So I would appreciate all prayers for tomorrow because I'm taking this baby with me to sit on the curbside and try to do my job because I have bills to pay. I do have a daughter in college, and I do have everything that any other human would have to pay for and live and survive. And Candy and I were talking earlier. Nothing is getting any less expensive. It's only getting to be more. Gas is more, product is more, groceries are more. And I'm doing a job that hasn't paid anymore. I don't know about you guys, but nothing is paying more. And I have this child now. I had to go buy clothes. He came with nothing but the shirt on his back. I had to go buy clothes and diapers and extra milk and baby food and toys, because he had nothing. And I would rather give all of anything away, even if it meant not paying my bills, to help a baby that deserves everything to have a fighting chance in this world. And just like Candy said earlier and did, it's not about how we feel or how happy we are or how scared we are or how the world has come down on us and made us feel insignificant or unworthy. And even while we're suffering in pain at all times, and trust me, the devil's throwing knives daily at us. And it's funny though, when you learn how to pick that knife back up and throw it back at the devil and say, in your face, biatch. But I mean, Candy's the best example of that. But I'm telling you, there is no greater love than the love that you give to others when you put your own circumstances or needs or pain or challenges aside That's what selfless love is. That's what real love is. And that's why we're here, folks. Nothing was promised to be easy or fair or, just a handout. Never was. And if we wanted to compare apples to everyone around us, like, well, she's not struggling or he's not, well, they've never had this. Or at least last time remind you once again that the devil is going to work harder every day, all day long, on those that he cannot have. And it's quite honestly a compliment, in my own humble opinion. Because that's the other thing this teaches us, right, Candy? To be humble and loving and giving and be a light that shines every single day for others. It's never been about us. We have suffered immensely. My friend Candy, right there, has suffered at the hands of men from a very young age. And many of us have. But I'm telling you what, not as to compare to what I know with this beautiful woman here and her husband of 33 years. What a beautiful example of what is love. That is love. That's all I got to say about that. And sorry, my computer says I have 18 million viruses, and McAfee is going to keep bothering my computer over and over and over until I pay them $55. And I'm just going to call McAfee tomorrow and be like, hey, so I was thinking about that $55. And if you'd like to go to work for me and raise a child that's not yours as well until it can all get straightened out in court, and also pay for a little brat daughter that's going to college, I'd be more than willing to hand over 55 for your antivirus protection. So yeah, McAfee, kiss my white American buttocks. And I'm not even white. I'm a mutt. I'm a Heinz 57, and you're welcome. Yep.
Hey, you just reminded me
He's no
about
color.
another. You
What's
just
that?
reminded me about another situation in my life earlier, right? We had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, 4 children of our own, me and George. So there's 6 of us in this house, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So there was a family being abused. So we took in the mother and her son and her daughter. Well, the son at the time, I think he was 9 years old. And so when he came into our house, oh my gosh, he was such a wreck. They had the clothes on their back, holes in his shoes. So we came to the dinner table, we go to eat, and he was like, he would like hide up underneath the table. And I told him, I was like, you don't have to eat underneath there. You can eat up here. It's okay. And so when he would get done eating his food, it was like he just sat there and I was like, you want some more? And it was like he was afraid to even ask for seconds. And I was like, oh my
Yep.
God. So, we got him okay with eventually, like it's okay to have seconds, it's like, okay, the starches are to fill you up. That's what they're for. So, anyway, so over time, this little boy, I saw him go from like 9, they were there for a couple of years, maybe 11, 12 years old. And so they grew up, the mother moved out, she, got on her own path and different things happened. So years go by, years, and this has been just within the last 4 or 5 years. So I get a friend request from him on Facebook. And I was like, who is this? Because he changed his first name was Jason, and he changed his first name to Hunter. And I didn't know who
Wow.
Hunter was. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, this is this little boy that lived in my house. It was like going through all this stuff. And I'm like, he's a grown man now. He's married, has children of his own, and he's
That's
so
amazing, isn't it?
healthy. I'm just like, oh my God, he looks amazing. And he wasn't this little scrawny little shrimpy little kid that was afraid to speak up or say anything and hid up underneath
I
the table.
wonder where he got that from.
Oh my God. I was just, oh my God. I couldn't believe. And, like we're Facebook friends now. I look, he has like 3 children now. He's married to an English teacher. He's managing a auto parts store. And I'm
Wow.
like, oh, how amazing is that to see that, I actually played a part in that.
I mean, right there is, you guys, I can't even tell you, but is it not the best feeling to love with no boundaries, to give without expecting, to just shine a light where there's darkness? I mean, that's the one thing I've learned out of. I've always known this. Let's put it like this. I have always known since I was a very young child. I have always seen and looked at and saw darkness before I should have, and saw how badly humanity could treat others. And of course, going through a lot as a little girl, but nothing like Candy's, but just seeing things and knowing things and going through things. Um, and it's not even apples to apples or comparison. What I'm saying is, I think some of us are born with a light. I think that we have always known we're different. We have always known we had purpose. We have always been picked on, lost, belittled, put down, or actually, and after you come up with this Morgellons, you find yourself literally abandoned by everyone and everything you ever held near and dear on all levels. And you have this moment of despair and like crying out, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? And what I've learned and what I have seen with many of us individuals, and it doesn't have to be Morgellons, it could be anything, whether you're seeing the supernatural and people are not believing you, or the UFOs or the UFAs or the UFFs. I don't even care, or the fights, the UFC. I don't care. But when you find yourself alone and abandoned and on your knees, is it not a choice at that moment? And is it not obvious that the reason all of you, and I know it's all of you that have felt that, are not still here because you had this great strength within? It's always been there. And this passion for life, whether they cared less whether you lived or die, and this will to survive because you knew you had great purpose and something wonderful and beautiful to do. And I'm telling you, lighthouses are out at sea for a reason. And you guys are lighthouses. Think of it the same way. A lighthouse is leading those that are lost at sea to the shorelines, to safety. That's exactly why we're here. It is not about what we're going to get out of this, how we're going to be able to call it even, or why this guy has this or that guy didn't suffer that. It's not about how much have we suffered, why are we suffering. It's about, thank you, Lord, for my suffering, because of my suffering, I've learned to be humble, which we probably already were, but right, you learn to be humble on a level that was honestly and previously unknown before. You learn to be understanding by putting yourself into others' shoes and others' positions, and you have this compassion where others do not, because you know how it feels. And even though somebody might, like my dad, being a total jerk and never treating you nice, giving you the worthiness that you deserve from day one. It's not about that. You learn how to lift others up, even if it means sitting in the dugout or on the sidelines. And that is our purpose. Money is not even comparable to the value that each and every single one of us can bring to the table every single day. And you do it in your own secrecy. You don't have to have others know about it or notice, because there is nothing better than a secret giver. I'm telling you, it's like your own little secret. It's like, you know, you did a good thing and you feel good inside, and you know that you helped somebody else's life change or feel better or rise up, or you brought them a moment of happiness where they had none. And you need not tell a soul. It's not important that you do. What's important is that right here, you're feeling that same love that you gave to another, and it's infectious. Love is infectious. It really is. And Candy, real quick, I'd like to read the scripture, because this is scripture to me was always hard to understand growing up biblically. And I mean, of course, man translated and man translated again and again and again, and everything is confusing. But when you go through the things that most of us have, it's funny how scripture comes to mean a lot more and have this level of understanding that you never saw before. So again, this is 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, and it does not boast. It's not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. Of course, it's not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It's something I always had to work on because I was like, mad, so mad. Why can't they see that I'm going through this? I don't care anymore whether they see it or not. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. And that's what we're doing right here, right now, is giving the truth, loving in our truth, standing in our truth, doing all of those things in our truth. Love does not delight in evil. Like I said, it rejoices in truth. It always protects. I'm protecting that little boy. Candy protected that little girl. And you guys are protecting something right here and right now. I just know you are. It doesn't have to be a child. I don't care if you're protecting your family, whether they know it or not, or you're protecting someone at your job, or you're protecting a perfect stranger that you saw being belittled. You're protecting someone right now because that's what you do. You're protectors. Love always trusts, it always hopes, and it always perseveres. And by golly, look at us rock and roll. All of us here, we're persevering. We are persevering, and we are filled with hope and filled with faith at that. Love never fails, and it does not. So again, this is 1 Corinthians verse 8 here on 13:8. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. We're seeing that. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. That's coming. And where there is knowledge, it will pass. And sadly, what are we seeing right now? Where there's knowledge, it will pass away. We're living in those times, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, my beautiful Candy Muffin, my Kim, my Jay the Rage, Redwood New, all of you guys, we're living in those times, and it is ever so present. And my dad, who is this self-proclaimed Christian, and I'm going to give him that. I believe he believes he's a Christian. But my dad always told me the greatest of these is love, right? My dad always told me, you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But where I'm heartbroken and where I will not give up is the fact that you don't tell people you don't believe. You don't say ugly things when you already see them hurting. And the only way we can reverse that when somebody does that to us is by treating them with even better ways. Double the love, double the giving, double the trust, double anything in there, or triple even. It doesn't matter what they do to us. It's really, the question is, what can we do for them? What can we do for someone else that's struggling? Because we have a promise. We have a promised eternal home. We do. So we really have nothing to lose, right? Nothing at all. But everything to gain. And by being selfless, I'm sorry, but that's a great feeling, to need nothing, ask for little, and be selfless every day, all day long. I know it's not feasible all the time. It doesn't have to be. And again, it's not fair. It doesn't have to be fair. Fair is not even accounted for in heaven. A fair, like heavenly home is heavenly home. You would never even have to worry about the nonsense here. But there's only one way to get there. And that, my friends, is, what is love? Oh yeah, love. Undeniable, ever unconditional love. Unconditional love. And one day, my friends, we will be where we know no pain and no sorrow and no heartache, and little babies like Candy's, or this one back here in this bedroom that's now sleeping, that's got to get up at 3 a.m. with me to drive 2 hours away to work. They will know great love too, and unconditional love, eternal love that's coming. But our job is to give them that hope, to understand that they too will get there. So, kind of that. All right, Candy, sorry. I had to add to that because I just want people to know how great they are, how wonderful they are. And I know it's hard, but you guys got this, man. You were born for this. You were made for a time such as this. You are in the fight. You're warriors. There is nothing that's going to stop you. You got us too, and we can like pump each other up. And be like, hey, you blow on my arm, I'll blow on yours. So right. We got this. We do. Candy, I love you so much. I love George so much. It is your anniversary. Sorry. McGaffey virus trying to sell me some. Oh, McGaffey again? No others. Why is only McGaffey trying to sell me this? You got some 1,858 viruses. McGaffey, you will have to answer to that as well. I know. It's just a virus or an algorithm or just a software, but what are we, right? Are we the hard drives? I'm just saying, you can't mess with the hard drive. By the way, you can't mess with a human soul that has endless love and has learned how to love selflessly. There's no winning that because selfless means selfless. So it means like you could destroy us all you want with your little verbal ways, your little forked tongue, or whatever you want to do. But Satan, go away, and you all that can't be nice, go ahead and watch, listen, and learn. So we got this.
Yep. You can't touch this.
No, kid does this. Sorry, I almost did the Roger Rabbit right there and the Running Man all in one. You do not want to see that. However, we did take third in the nation. We're on ESPN many, many moons ago, 1990 to be exact. But that's a true story. So I literally can Roger Rabbit and do the Running Man, but I cannot really sing very well. That's okay though.
All right. Well, you know what? You need to get some sleep while you can, while that baby's sleeping.
I do. And you need to go give George a kiss on the cheek and a hug on his neck and say, honey, I love you. And we made it 33 years. By the way, I see 33333s all the time. And Jesus is 33.
I bought him his carrot cake today, so it's all good.
You are a good wife, and I am so happy for you guys, and I love you guys so much. And I love all of you that joined us here or did not and watch later. I just want you to know we love you so much. And I mean that from the depths of my heart. I don't even have to know you in person to know that I love you, because if you're here, you're family. You're our family, and we know you're going through a lot also, but you have love in your heart. So thank you for all of that. Thank you, Candy, for being such a good woman, good friend, and good wife, and good individual in particularly.
I just wish I'd lived around the corner from you.
I so wish you did too. I'd hug your neck every day. It
kills me every time I'm like, I just need to hug her. I can't be
You're
there.
So sweet. This woman is so loving. It's ridiculous. And I have not had a hug in I don't know how many years. So I'm going to kind of hold you to that. I'm just saying, eventually. So.
I was like, what is that little cartoon guy? He's like, I would hug you and love you and squeeze you.
Call you George.
Call
you George. That's why you married George. I knew it. I knew it. And I hug you and kiss you and name you George. Oh, guys, this computer virus from McGaffey, because again, no others. It's getting the best of me, but that's okay. You don't have my dollar bill, yo. That's because I don't have no dollar bill, yo. I'm broke and I got to go work with baby tomorrow. So lots of love, guys. Lots of love. Prayers for all of you. We got this. We're in the fight. And Candy, tell Mr. George I'm so proud of him. And I'm so happy that he has such a beautiful woman to love back. So
he survived all these years in spite of me.
He did, but he would not have made it with all these years without you. And that probably is vice versa. But the greatest of these is love, y'all. Not the dollar bill, y'all. All right, guys. Love you. Have a blessed weekend. I'll be working. Bye. I think we got this.